Late Chosun Korea was a society deeply shaped by Neo-Confucian ritual. Life events, like funerals, ancestral rites, and seasonal ceremonies, followed detailed rules involving incense, candles, bowing, and choreographed movements. These ritual norms influenced other Korean religions and created a shared ritual vocabulary. When Anglicanism arrived in Seoul in the 1880s, it entered this ritual world. Anglican worship carried its own ceremonial traditions, and when these encountered Korean expectations for sensory ritual, a hybridized form of Anglicanism emerged. At the same time, Anglicanism itself was divided over ritual. Traditional Anglicanism emphasized simplicity with plain communion tables, limited sensory elements, and minimal bodily movement. But in the 19th century, sensory worship was revived. Though controversial in England and eventually suppressed, this ritual-rich, high church style was the form of Anglicanism that reached Korea. Bishop Charles John Korff, the first Anglican bishop in Korea, came from a high church background and was trained in ceremonial worship. He believed that missionary work required cultural understanding before conversion. For his first 5 years in Korea, he did not evangelize. Instead, he learned the Korean language, opened schools and hospitals, and learned about Korean culture. His guiding principle was integration, not imposition. Once evangelization began, Anglican practice blended intentionally with Korean ritual life. Korff's 1897 Directions for the Eucharist, the ceremony where Christ's body and blood are received symbolically, show how the ceremony became far more ritualized in Korea than England. Incense was used at every service, ceremonial clothing was ornate and colorful, and 2 candles remained lit on the altar at all times, direct parallels to Confucian ancestral altars. The choreography of the Eucharist also shifted. Where English worship relied mainly on kneeling and standing with minimal movement, the Korean ceremony emphasized bodily motion. The priest moved through precise directional patterns. Worshippers bowed deeply, genuflected at specific times, and raised their arms in prescribed gestures. These actions mirrored Confucian ritual behaviors, translating the Christian rite into a language Koreans already understood. The Anglican Eucharist ceremony in Korea increased movement, directionality, incense, candles, and ornamentation, elements already familiar from Korean sacred practices. The Eucharist became a Christian sacrament expressed through a Korean ritual vocabulary. This cultural translation mattered. An earlier low church Anglican mission, which refused to adapt to Korean ritual norms, failed entirely. Korff's adaptive, ritual-centered approach, though modest in numbers, took root and endured. Ultimately, Anglicanism succeeded in Korea not simply through doctrine, but through ritual translation, integrating Christian worship into the embodied, ceremonial fabric of Korean religious life.